The Ukrainian government has just signed a ceasefire agreement with the pro-Russian separatists in Minsk. Earlier today, I spoke to John McCain, the senator for Arizona, about what this might mean.
I'm afraid that it means that Vladimir Putin has another significant success. Part, as I understand the agreement, is the withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from eastern Ukraine, which then gives, of course, Vladimir Putin de facto control over eastern Ukraine, which was his ambition all along. Now it'll be interesting to see whether he intends to continue to landlock Ukraine, establish the direct lines of communications with Crimea. Does he then pressure Moldova? And is already exerting pressure on the Baltics. And when you look at the price he's paid for all this, it's astonishingly low and can only encourage him to further adventurism. The world has got to understand what Vladimir Putin is. He's an old KGB colonel that wants to see a restoration of the Russian Empire, and at least de facto control of some parts of Ukraine is part of that, just as Crimea and Sevastopol was absolutely essential to him.
How do you think the West should respond to that?
I think it's pretty obvious that there's only one thing that Vladimir Putin understands, and that is what Ronald Reagan used to say, peace through strength. I'm still bewildered that after this incursion, we dare not call it invasion.
But you call it invasion?
Of course, but the reaction of the West was minimal, and the Ukrainian military was incapable once it was outright Russian military invasion.
What does peace through strength mean? Does it mean arming the Ukrainian army?
Of course it does.
Does it mean forward deployment of NATO troops?
It means that you've got to give them weapons with which to defend themselves. And for us to sit there and say, incredibly, that we don't want to provoke Vladimir Putin, the thing that provokes Vladimir Putin is weakness. And he has been very provoked, in my view.
What about deployment of NATO forces? Clearly they were talking about that at the summit.
I think it's fine, but does that mean we give up Moldova? Does that mean we give up Ukraine?
Do you think sanctions are going to have any effect?
If they were tough and severe, but I have to tell you, they won't be as long as the Europeans are dependent on Russian energy. And that's just a fact. We saw this movie in the 1930s. And I'm not predicting World War III, but I am predicting a restoration, an attempt to restore the Russian Empire on the part of Vladimir Putin. And that means Moldova, that means the Baltics.
How is this going to end, do you think? Is there going to be any satisfactory solution to be found with Mr. Putin still in the Kremlin?
It's not going to end well unless Mr. Putin pays a price that is too much in return for what he's gained. That means incredibly strong sanctions that may even hurt in the short term the economies of European countries and the United States. That means making sure that our friends and allies are armed. It means putting back missile defense into Poland and the Czech Republic. It means deploying troops in and out of the nations that border Russia. And it means a steadfast and strong response. At the end of World War II, some of us remember that Turkey and Greece were about to be overtaken by Russians, by the communists. And what did Harry Truman do? He sent weapons and assistance to Greece and Turkey. That was a turning point in the Cold War. When North Korea invaded South Korea, we fought. Whenever there was aggression by Russia, we reacted. Now it's talk. Talk.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.